In this lesson, we're going to be learning about equations. So far, you guys are already familiar with numerical expressions and algebraic expressions, and they look like that. And in this lesson, let's say if I want to solve this numerical expression, so 12 plus 1 is 13, right? That's what we learned from previous lessons. And for the right-hand side, we have algebraic expression. But since we don't know what the variable y represents, let's say in this case, we set it equal to like 2. Now I just want you to observe what's the difference between the expressions and what I wrote right here. The main difference is this equal sign, right? This equal sign. And we want to give them a new name. We call it equations. So whenever you see the equal sign and there's expressions right here and we have a number, we call it equation. And so that's will be the definition of equation. So it's a mathematical statement that contain a equal sign. So equal sign. These are some of the examples of equations. So you see there's equal sign here, and they have a numerical expression and there's a number, and also there's a algebraic expression and here's another number. So we call it equation. But because an equation is a mathematical statement, I want you to know that there's one thing really important is called open sentence. Open sentence is the equation is neither true or false. That means if right now I have a equation right here, since we don't know what the variable y represents, so we cannot tell whether this equation is true or false. If we know the variable right here, we can replace the value and to test them out to see if left hand side equal to right hand side. So but in this case we don't have the condition, so we can only say that this is open sentence. It's neither true or false. But let's say you just want to know whether it's true or false. You want to be certain. So let's say I gave you a condition right here. The condition will be y is 1. And I can test them out. I can say to replace the 1. So 1 plus 2. Does that equal to 5? We'll see. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So it's definitely not equal to 5. So when y equals 1, equation is false. So we're certain that when y is 1, so that will be false. But what if I have 1, y equal 3, and we test it, and so 3 plus 2 is 5. Does that equal? So find out. So 3 plus 2 is 5. So yes, they are equal. And our conclusion would be when y is 3, equation is true. But we can to test the numbers and try to find the value and what this variable represent, right? But what if I give you this equation like 1.5x plus 2 equal 100, Can you pick a random number and to see and whether this equation were true or false? Yes, you can, but it will take a lot of times for you to find a value that make this equation true. Is there any other method that reduce the time, right, to save us some times? Yes. That's why we're gonna learn how to solve the equation. Solving the equation is really the process of finding the value of variable. And the variable will make this equation true. Whenever we get at the end, we call it a solution. So in this time, we don't just randomly pick the number and then plug the number back into the equation. That will spend a lot of time. We're gonna learn new method, right, to really figure out the value. But before that, I want to introduce a new term called balance. Let's say I have 1 equal 1. Yeah, everybody know that. But if I want to multiply 2 on both sides, so it's going to be 2 equals 2. So they are true, right? But what will be the difference if I only want to multiply 2 on one side? Let's say on left hand side. So it's going to be 2 and 1. Does that equal? No, they are not equal. So to keep it balanced, whenever you do the operations, you gotta do it on both sides. So let's say I have this equal sign. You want to do the operation. Let's say you want to do multiplication. You gotta do it on both sides. Same thing for division and subtraction on both sides and addition. So keep that in mind. And with that, we can look at some examples and to learn how to solve equation. The first one, we have y plus 2 equals 4. Our ultimate goal is to figure out what this variable represents. Or in another word, we want to isolate this variable by moving this number to the right hand side. But how do we do that? Firstly, observe we have a addition. We want to cancel this 2. To cancel it, we want to subtract 2 on both sides. So remember, always you're gonna keep it balanced. So right here we have 2 minus 2 is 0. We have y plus 0 right now. And on the right hand side, 4 minus 2 is 2. And y plus 0 is just still y, right? Now here is the solution. Is the value. And if I plug this value back into this equation, will make this equation true. So it will save us a lot of time. And this process is called solving the equation. And this thing I just boxed is called the solution. Let's look at another example. For this one, there isn't like addition or subtraction. We have a multiplication right now, right? But how do we cancel this thing, right? By only leaving this variable x on the left hand side. We can use division. We want to divide 3 on both sides. Remember that the bar here means division, so we can also write it like 3 divided by 3. So it's still 1, right? So we cancel the 3 and we have x equal 9 divided by 3 will be 3. So this is our solution right here. Oops. Okay. And here are 2 more questions. This time we have 1 minus 3 equals 1, and it's pretty similar to the previous questions, right? Like here. We want to isolate y. So we want to plus 3 on both sides. Then we can cancel this 3 on the left hand side. So 3, 3 minus 3 is 0. So y equal 4. This is our solution. And if you want, you can write y plus 0 on the left hand side, but mentally you can calculate it, right? Our last question will be this thing. This is really interesting. How can we isolate the y? Is by multiply y on both sides. This way, we can cancel the y on the left hand side. So we can rewrite it like y over y. Just like 2 over 2 is 1, so y over y is still 1. So 20 times 1 equal 4y. So 20 times 1 is 20. So this one, does that look as similar so far from previous one? This 3x equals 9? Yes. Then we will use the same method. We just want to put the bars right there and to divide it. Since we want to figure out what this variable y equal to, we're going to cancel the 4, or we move the 4 to the left hand side. So let's do that. Put the bar right there and divide it by 4. So 4 over 4 is still 1, right? So 1 times y is still y, equal 20 over 4 is 5. And so 5 equals y, or y equals 5. So normally we want to put the variable on the left hand side.